Alright, y'all. This is my first little deal where I'm just actually trying to put something up for good cause. But yeah, this here, the Book of Remembrance of Enoch. All I'm really doing is just going over a little bit of stuff about Adam and Eve. First and foremost, their names. Alright, so the name Adam, show it to you. Again, the name Adam. Strong coordinates 120. Strong concordance 120 means a human being of low degree, a hypocrite. Why would God ever name him that? His original name was Yatzgad, which means the first companion and counselor to creation, and also the first person to walk upon the ground. Strong concordance 3289 and 259. For Eve, the name Eve appears only 4 times in the Bible, twice in the Old Testament, twice in the New Testament. Eve is not a Hebrew word. The word for her name is Kava, Strong Concordance 2332. In Greek, it is Yoah, Strong Concordance 2096, which is the Greek form of Kava. All right, with that being said, let me go on to what I was trying to get to. All right, so with the Genesis, it just says that Eve was taken from Adam's, was Adam's rib. But right here is just, I'm not even at the beginning, so and I just want to put this out there though. But it says, and because the Lord as a man had defined her to be the feelings of the heart of Yatzgad, aka Adam, made flesh, she was drawn in her daily walk toward those living souls in creation from Yatzgad, whom Yatzgad had defined, and toward those who knew who and what they were. And she followed after him in his wanderings all of her days, even until her 7th season of fruit also, and they had not ever seen one another, and sometimes they were only 1 day's journey apart, and yet neither knew of the other. Okay, so again, that's Adam and Eve, Yatzgad and Kava. So, for them to actually for him to have been put to sleep and the rib taken away and wake up and to see somebody, that's a totally different story. For somebody to be following somebody for like 7 years and, just never seeing them. And let me give you a little bit more of it. So she's following him and he's just interacting with nature. And as she's following him, he they're talking to creation. So as she's going, like, she's talking to the trees and talking to the grass and stuff, and everybody's just talking about the guy that just passed by, and that's the guy she's following. So let me find something else for y'all. So yeah, I don't know if you actually have it, but again, it's the Book of Remembrance of Enoch, and that what I actually just pretty much just read is the Book of Seth, chapter 4, starts at verse 128. So with this book, I'm just gonna be jumping around, just putting what little information that I've gotten, that I've really found interesting out here. But I'm sorry, give me a moment. Okay, so with this, this is chapter 1 of Seth in the Book of Remembrance of Enoch. So Enoch's mother, her name was Baraka. So she I guess she grew up in the presence of the Most High, but yeah, she learned that you're supposed to kneel down to bless God, and let me go back to the name again. Was that the Christ? It was Mozart the Lamb. I don't know if you can see it. and I might not even be saying properly, but so yeah, kneeled down to bless God. For Mosat, the lamb, appeared to her in her youth in a cavity of a rock, and he ministered to her. And afterwards she declared that one must stand in humility upon their feet when asking to be blessed, or for favors to be shed upon their fellows by the loving kindness of God. And a person must kneel with their knees upon the earth when giving or blessing their God. And the sayings went abroad: stand to receive and kneel to give. All right, let's go to this next one. This is chapter 3 of the book of remembrance of Enoch. So let's go to verse 32. And it's talking about Cain and Abel. So Cain and Abel, let's go back and look at the names. So the name Cain means to strike fast in strong concordance 70:13, which comes from strong concordance 69:69, to chant the feeling of death. Who would ever name a baby that? Cain's original name is Kena. Strong concordance 70:70, which means a calamus reed or a sweet reed. And let's go to Abel. So with him, let's say Abel, strong concordance 1892, which means something transitory, needs replaced, unsatisfactory, emptiness. Jesus said that Abel was righteous. Why would God name him unsatisfactory? Or what kind of parent would name the new baby needs to be replaced, or emptiness? His original name was Mattaniah, meaning gift of God. Strong concordance 4893. Hold on. All right, Mattaniah. Let me see. So yeah, Mattaniah and Kenan. So verse 32 on this Seth chapter 3. And it came to pass that Enoch saw that before Lamech there was no man lifting up his hand to shed blood, and the murder performed by Kenan against his brother Mattaniah, Cain and Abel, was accomplished without the shedding of blood. For it was a stone of Azazel that hit Mattaniah in the forehead when he was tending his sheep in the valley of Simca. And Kenan did not have to raise his hand against his brother to perform it, but it was done because he was jealous of his brother. Next page, let's see. All right, and his desires for Sapphai, that's the wife of his brother, and thus he corrupted his marriage in so much that he was able to enter into a covenant with Samanhaza. Another name for Samanhaza is Hashatan. That's Satan, or the devil. So, and he learned in what manner to perform it from him, and it was all to be done in secret. So, and Kenan said, now I am the master of secret devices, because, excuse me, I don't know if y'all can see that. I'm sorry. I need to, get better equipment. All right. I am the master of secret devices because I know the way to accomplish it. And Kenan performed the murder with hateful chantings and doleful murmurings, and with the wicked desires which he applied to his prayers. And Kenan had been deceived by the evil one into believing the thoughts of his heart, and the sounds of his lips that were done in secret could not be known. And he was told, he was told that when Mattaniah was killed, he would be thought to have no part in it, seeing he was not near at the time. All right, so yeah, so with that, just look this next part. So but in Genesis, I guess we all thought that Cain killed Abel just because he was jealous about the Most High giving Abel praise about his offering, but it was more to it than that. So okay, and Kenan expected that it would all go well for him, and his acts would not become discovered because of the covenant administered to him by Semihaza and Azal, and all of this was done in secret, so Kenan could obtain the wife of Mattaniah, and in the end he would have her twin sister also. Crazy. But God knew, for he sees all things, and he was discovered in his wickedness and was called to account. So that's crazy. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna take a break from that. So it's something else I want to find and show y'all about Cain. So yeah, hold on. Okay, so it's gonna be a little bit before Cain, but just keep in mind, Adam and Eve, aka Yatzgad and Kava, they are still in Eden. All right, so this is chapter 6, verse 88 of the book of Seth. Okay, and Kava exclaimed in the love of her heart, "It is a baby. Where did you get it?" And the serpent said, "It issued forth out of me, for I am the mother of it." And Kava said, "What shall you do with it?" And the serpent said, "I shall raise it up until it becomes a serpent just like me." And Kava was filled with the joy of delights, and that her friend should have a young to raise up, and she clapped her hands for joy. And at the sound of her clap, the serpent winced. And she said to Kava, "Who raised you up?" And Kava said, "Why do you ask? Do you not know?" Anoki said, "That is the Father. That is the one they call Jehovah, raised us up, and he is our Father and our protector, and the one who guides us in the way." And the serpent answered her not a word, but turned herself and went back into the crack in the rocks with her baby. Excuse me, I don't know if y'all seen it when Anoki said, I don't know if I be saying it right, but yeah. All right, so yeah, and it came to pass that as I looked with Enoch, I was talking about Enoch, Enoch, yeah. So, y'all know he was born after Adam, long after Adam, but he's actually able to go back and watch Adam and Eve, or Yatzgad and Kava, as as they kids and growing up. So actually able to see their lives while they in Eden. All right, so let me see. Okay, so yeah, and it came to pass that as I looked with Enoch, I beheld that Kava was arising from her sleep, and I noticed that she was becoming heavy with child, and neither Yatzgad nor Kava seemed to take any notice, nor bring to mind anything about what it meant. And it came to pass that one day she woke up Yatzgad by laughing and making exclamations of delight. And when he stirred himself, when he stirred himself to see what it was all about, she said, "Look and see what I have." And he looked, and he looked at what she held, and he was startled. And he said, "What is it?" And she said, "It is a baby, and it is one of our kind, and it issued forth out of me, just like the young of the serpent. And like all the animals of the field, is not it wonderful?" So again, they still in Eden. So Cain, aka Kenan, was born in Eden. Now, let me move on to why, the real reason why they had to leave. Okay, so right here, they're still in Eden, but Kava, aka Eve, her head has been filled with doubts and whatnot. So I'm gonna start from verse 10 on chapter 7 of Seth. It says, "And the subtleties of Arum, and Arum is the serpent, were in her heart, and the spirit of Mozart." So Mozart is Semihaza, aka Hashatan, aka Satan, the devil. Mozart drew near, and he said to her in her heart, you could become like God and know how to keep fear from your child. So, fear ain't nothing but a spirit. All right. If you used the tree that is before you, you can for you are very good, and you are good enough that you are willing to give the child back to Anoki said for him to raise up. So she's got fear on her and got doubt on her, and pretty much convinced to that she needs to give the baby back because she's not a good enough mother. She's not good enough to raise a gift from God. You know what I mean? And let's see with that. This is just something that I'm telling you about the book. It's okay. So in the book, so God told him and told Yatzgad and Kava, to stay away from stuff if it's not clothed in righteousness. So the Mozart, the decadent, aka Semihaza, aka Hashatan, he not clothed in righteousness. The serpent, Arum, not clothed in righteousness. So she's taking her problems to the tree. So let me get to that. All right, so right here I'm gonna start at chapter 7, verse 12. So at first, I guess on verse 11, she had the baby with her at the tree, but she took the baby home and returned. So now, and she returned back to the tree again, and she knelt upon the ground in the dirt beneath it, with her legs folded under, and she bowed herself forward, with her face toward the ground, and she held her face with her hands, and she said to the tree, "Oh, help me to feel all the good that is in me, for I am good enough to give the child back to," Anoki said, "for him to raise, for I am afraid I cannot be a mother and raise him up unto the Lord." And the tree was afraid. Yeah, see that? The tree was afraid because she came to the tree with doubt, and with stuff that's not meant for the tree. All right, so and the tree was afraid, and it cried out, "Do not speak to me so." And the tree desired to turn her face away from Kava, but Kava did not hear the tree, and she was comforted by the thought that she was good enough to be willing to give the child back. And thus she used the tree to deny her motherhood, and the subtleties of Mozart and Arum twisted the truth about that which is good and that which is evil. Let's see, make sure y'all see that. So yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right. And thus our first mother used an element of creation to magnify a lie that came from her doubts and fears, and she partook fully of the spirit of the tree, and drank the feelings of the tree into her soul, and she filled herself falsely with the feelings of the good that was in her, because she was willing to give the child back, and it brought her comfort, and her fears seemed to abate. So that's that's what that is. It wasn't no fruit. So that tree was righteous, but yeah, it was. So let's keep on. Okay. But I beheld her as she sat under the tree, and I saw her arise, and when she stood up to leave, she shook both her hands, and though she felt she was dirty, and she rubbed her hands upon her garments, and never before had any such feeling come to her. So, but before she interacted with that tree the way she did, like they had, the righteousness, like they like when no such thing as dirty. And as Kava departed, and she was a little way off from the tree, she turned herself and looked back at the tree, and her eyes were opened, and she beheld the tree to be darker than all the trees around it, and it did not shine with the light of God, nor radiant the life which is in it, which is the arm of God, arm of the Lord. And she saw that the tree was no longer clothed upon in righteousness, and she was perplexed, but she continued on her way and wondered what it could mean. All right. Okay, so yeah, after that, she went back home, and she, starts telling Adam exactly, what happened and everything. And then they end up getting in touch with the Most High, and he lets them know. So yeah, pretty much, yeah, you messed up, and y'all gonna have to leave. But before they actually go, he teaches them how to thread. What you do the needle and thread deal. Giving them sheep skins for clothing, and getting the baby together. And like their very last night, he actually slept with them, and comforted them and whatnot. So with that, there's a old tradition, like because of that, like whenever people would go visit their elders, on their last night there, the children would sleep with the elders. Just I guess just with that, with Adam and Eve and the Most High. All right, let me continue. All right, so yeah, I'm finna go back to when Enoch first did the little time travel to go back and see baby Adam and Eve. Okay, and thus it appeared before the eyes of Enoch that YahtzGod became a living soul when the spirit and presence of Mozart the Lamb, aka Christ, entered into him, together with his vision of holiness for the child. Oh, I'm sorry. I went. So yeah, that's the wrong one. But all right. So if y'all did notice that though, just pay attention to that, because this right here, this is chapter 4, Seth chapter 4, verse 49. Chapter 4, verse 49 of Seth. So again, thus it appeared before the eyes of Enoch that YahtzGod became a living soul when the spirit and presence of Mozart the Lamb entered into him, together with his vision of holiness for the child. So let me go back. So see that I started too far up, but let me go back to verse 17. Verse 17. All right. So you say, and Enoch looked, and he said, Lord, who is this child? And the child was very brown, and he had a full head of black hair. And Mozart the Lamb, aka Christ, said, it is your first father, YahtzGod, aka Adam. And the child was dull of feeling, and downcast in the manner, and in his appearance, and he was dirty with the dust of the earth, and he was unkempt, and he was wrapped about with a skin of fur. So go back, look. You say, I remember I just went back, some verses. So it say he was dirty, and keep in mind when I was reading about Eve, or Kava, before she messed with the tree, she was never dirty. You know, after the righteousness of that tree disappeared, she became dirty. So when Yatscott was a baby, he was dirty, but when he got that breath of life blown into him, he was clean. That righteousness. It's all crazy, and I don't know. It's many. I don't know. It's a lot of books, but as far as how many books of remembrances, like I couldn't tell you. You know, books are books. The Bible, we look at the Bible as one book, but it's many books in that Bible, and this is just another book that literally belongs with it. But this is actually like before that, so yeah, it's crazy. All right, I want to look at the first wedding now. The first wedding. All right, so I'm just looking at Seth chapter 5, verse 106 and 107. Let's see. Well, you know what? I go 104 to 107. But yeah, it says, and the two of you and I together have planted this garden. You see that? The two of you together and I have planted this garden. So it wasn't just Adam or Yatscott by himself, and it wasn't just the Most High, So it was multiple people in the beginning, and all right, so yeah, I planted this garden that is called Eden, and I love you, and I have depended upon Yatscott to invite me to enter into the elements of creation, to give them life, and to bring with me your visions of holiness, and now all creation can be the abode of my love for man. And I have depended upon Kava to allow oneness to affect creation, and the spirit of friendship and rich companionship now abounds here in this place, and their separateness is gone, and they each and everyone can know one another and can love each one the other. And thus we have brought creation to another day of Gamal, and it is a day of rejoicing and celebration. And the day of Gamal for Eden is a day that is a day of a feast and a feast of marriage. All right, and the Lord arose and he asked Yatscott to sit himself down upon the moss. Let's see. Okay, sit himself down upon the moss, the glory side of Kava. And he said, it is good that a woman does not sit upon a bed or bedding with any man until the day of her marriage, when she sits for the first time there with her husband. And see, and that right there, that's just something that a lot of people still try to keep today. And a lot of people just don't care. But you look, after that, I hope you actually saw it. But that was given straight to Eve. So yeah, let me. Okay, so yeah, one thing. This is gonna be the last one, but this is what I really found interesting. All right, so yeah, okay. Look, all right, so back to Seth chapter 4. But let me move on down a little bit. Let me start at verse 50. All right. And Enoch was astonished at the sight of it, and he was much moved upon to behold the joy of the Lord, insomuch that he wept in his happiness together with him. And the Lord said to Enoch, where I entered into Yatscott, it was the morning, and it was the morning of what would be the 8th day, or the first day of the week. So so yeah, the day is supposed to be in the second week now, like literally the second week. And if you noticed, Adam or Yatscott is there, and it's just him and the Most High for the most part. All right, but still, okay. So let's see. Okay, and the sevenfold covenant that has been prophesied began to have an effect on me and on the child, and I entered into him because I was bid come by the power of the covenant of that covenant, and I brought his vision of holiness with me that I used to persuade the Father to create him, and I affixed it to his soul within him, never to be removed. And the child was born again, and he was then alive in me, and he became a living soul with both his body and his spirit. So, all right, so before they were actually, came from the previous world, they only had two spirits in them. If you actually get the book and read it, you'll see it says that there's four spirits to actually make a person, and that's crazy. I'm sorry, going to the next page. All right, yeah, sorry about that. Those last little bit I read, this was what I was looking for. It's still in chapter 4 of Seth, but it's actually verse 10. 110 of chapter 4. All right, so it say, and because he was the object of creation, those feelings in him acted together with the sevenfold covenant and invited the presence of Mozart the Lamb, aka Christ, to enter there also, and thus the presence of the Son of God that gives life followed with the child and transformed creation. Excuse me, I keep on moving. But yeah, the presence of the Son of God that gives life followed with the child and transformed creation. And and after the insects and the herbs and the field became living souls, it passed by. He passed by. So the child is just roaming around, and everything that he's roaming, walking by, the Son of God is giving it life. So pretty much, the child, Yacht's God, all he's doing is leading the spirit around. You know what I mean? And the spirit is just giving life to all of the creation, transforming it. All right, so yeah. All right, he passed by the oaks of Pethach. He in his wanderings, and word had preceded him among the trees because of their whisperings that the man was bringing to creation the view of God as to what he saw the definition of each thing to be. So yeah, so the stuff was already there, it was already there. Now he's just running around naming it. He's running around naming it as a child. He's leading the spirit and just naming everything. And the oaks said to him, "Who are we?" And we said, "You are," I'm sorry, I can't pronounce the name. Ayel, the strength of God. And the Lord entered them with his strong presence. And the fir trees asked him the same, "Who are we?" And he said, "You are Barash, and you bring healing and music to the soul." And the Lord entered them with healing and the spirit of music. So I encourage people to actually, go get this book. Like, I'm on chapter 10. I think it's like 15 chapters, but it's a lot of knowledge in it, a lot of history. Yeah, I will be actually, doing this again. The way I'm trying to do it, I'm trying to actually connect some of the stuff as far as stories. Books. Like the Book of Enoch, Book of Remembrance of Enoch, Genesis. Just trying to connect some of the people and all of that. But yeah, I hope someone probably was able to get some information out of this. hope you were able to, you know, find something that you didn't know about. So, you know, if it's something that I, you know, that I probably missed out on, yeah, let me know. I'm always seeking information. But yeah, y'all have a good one, and I look forward to trying to do this again real soon.